Hello and welcome to java9s.com. I'm Srinivas. In this session, we're going to discuss about classes, methods, and inheritance concepts. This tutorial is also useful for those people who are preparing for their certification programmer certification, and I have mentioned about the objectives that I have covered as part of this tutorial. So let us look at the concept of declaring classes. When you're going to define a class in a file, the first statement is going to be a package statement to which the class belongs to, and then the import statements will declare about what classes are being used as part of this class. So then comes the class statement itself. So you can declare instance variables and behavior like methods inside the class. So finally comes the naming of the file. The name of the file is going to be the name of the class itself. That means we're going to name this particular class with car.java. If you have multiple classes in a file, the file name should be the name of the class which has the public as an access modifier. We'll look at what access modifiers in the next session. So let us look at some of the rules that we need to remember during the declaration of the classes. So always package statement should be the first statement in the file if the class belongs to a package, and import statements comes next to the package statement. The order package followed by import statement followed by the classes should always be maintained, and comments can come anywhere in the Java file, and a Java file can have any number of non-public classes. Please remember, it is non-public classes, and if you have that means it is implicit that there should be only one public class, and if there is one, the file name should be the name of the class which has public as an access modifier. Then package and import statements declared in the file apply to all the classes that are defined in the file. A separate dot class file will be generated for each class that we have defined in that file, and any name can be given to a file where there is no a public class defined in a particular file name file. So if you don't have an class with the public as an access modifier, you can give any name and just go on, you can compile that. So let us just create a sample file, sample class here. So I'm just going to open a notepad. So I'm just creating class car, and I'll just give the instance variable as int speed. That's it. Now I'm going to save this class as car.java, and I'm going to select all files. I'm going to save it. So as I've already told you that there can be multiple files that can be part of the file. So I'm just going to declare class Ford as well. Let me compile this javac car.java. You can see the files have been compiled, and if you look at the folder, you can see that two class files have been generated dot class files. That means if you have any number of classes inside a file, but each and every class will get a separate dot class file generated by the compiler. So that's what we have we have seen in the slides. And now let us look at the concept of declaring objects. So the statement is going to look something like this. To create a new object, you have to use a declaration part, and you have to use an instantiation part. The declaration part is more concerned with the compiler, and the instantiation part is more is more about how the object is going to run in the runtime, or the JVM deals with this part of the instantiation side. So here you can see that declaration is having something like car C. This is called a reference variable. A reference variable should have a type. That means C is a type of car which can only refer to the objects of type car. So what does this C have? C will have the memory address to reach out the car object. That means whenever you use a new operator and when you're running the application, first when the object is created, some memory will be allocated to it, and that memory address will be given to the C. That's the reason why by using only these reference variables we will be able to reach out to the objects. Only when you use this reference variable and dot we'll be able to access their members, c dot speed, c dot move, or something like that. So it is the reference variables which are responsible to communicate or take us to the objects inside the memory. So you can see that I have created four statements which create four different objects. So as discussed earlier, that each and every reference will have an object assigned with their memory address, and if I'm going to declare another reference variable known as car E, and I'm assigning another reference to it, that means the memory address that is present inside this will be copied to E. That means now there will be two references that will be referred to this object. So you can manipulate this object using any of the reference variables. D can be used or E can be used. So I have declared speed as 50. Now if I am going to modify it using D reference, d dot speed is equal to 60, it is going to reflect even when you access the object using reference variable E, because it is only one object that is being modified and two of them are referring to the same object. So one object is going to get affected. Even you can have any number of reference variables referring to a particular object. Then comes the methods concept. Methods are members of a class, and instance variables are also members of class. Methods have the behavior defined for an object. Please remember, methods have the behavior which are mentioned to be invoked by other objects or to be used by other objects in the application. So it is a behavior of an object which will be used by other objects, which makes the application run forward. So methods can be declared with or without arguments, and there are two variants for a method: methods that actually return something, methods that don't return anything. That they are called void kind of methods, like uh, it is something like this. You have a friend and who is sitting next to you in the class, and you'll just ask him, hey, can you please get me that book? And he's going to get some book for you. So it is something like you're asking something for a return. And in sometimes you can ask your friend to close the door. Hey, can you close the door? He's just going to close the door. He's not going to return anything for you. He has just done what you have told to do. He has just he has just done what you have told him. So those kind of things are said to be void type. That means when there is no return type, the methods are said to be a void type. They'll do just do some action and just be there. But whereas return type, they'll calculate something or they'll process something and will return some value for you. So let us see some examples about return type. Always a return type should have a type declared, what type you're going to return, and the method name, and the arguments are optional here. So here I have mentioned an example where addition is my method, and I'm getting two arguments, adding them, assigning to them another integer, and returning that integer. Please remember the type of the value that I am returning, the type of the reference I am going to return should always be the type what I have declared here. So these are the method return type. And if you look at the void type, I'm saying that void save to file. I'm just saying just save to file whatever the message I'm sending. So here comes the code related to the saving the message to the file. So I'm not getting anything in return, so you have a void statement here. When you have void, there should not be any return value that you're going to give. So let us see something with methods without argument. Sometimes you don't need to pass any arguments for that. Say you can see this example, get current date. I'm going to get the current date from the system, so I need not pass any kind of value for it. So I'm just going to get the current date of the month, current day of the month here. So I'm getting the return as a date. Then comes the date, print current date. I'm just telling it to print the date, and I'm not telling to return something. So it'll just print. So this is going to be a void type. So let us look at the example of void and return type. So you can see that I have addition method I have declared, and I have declared the void method which prints the current date. So when I'm going to execute this, I'm telling method demo. I have created a new object method demo, and I'm telling d dot addition, and I'm passing two arguments. Whatever the value I'm going to get, I'm assigning it to C, and I'm printing it here. And then in the next statement, I'm just calling this method. I'm not telling to print, or I'm not telling, I'm not getting any return value. That's the reason why I'm not holding the result anywhere else. I'm just invoking this method, and the rest of the work is done by this method alone. So if you run this, you can see that the result is being printed, which belongs to addition method, and the day of the month is being printed. So this is how the methods with return type will work, and which return something always, and methods with void type does not return anything but do some work. That's it. So Now let us see the concept of inheritance. Inheritance is a very important concept and the first principle of object oriented programming, which helps to reuse the code from already existing types of or objects. So you don't have to declare what is already defined. You can concentrate on defining some new functionality and creating some new types, etc., which leads to enhancements of the system. But it helps in terms of reusability of the code. Inheritance is implemented between two classes using extends keyword. Please remember, you can only extend one class. There is no multiple inheritance concept in Java. So here using extends keyword, you can only extend one class, and when a class extends another class, extending class is called subclass and extended class is called superclass. Let us see an example here. I have a car class and move method inside it, and I'm going to declare Ford class which extends car. So I have another method known as move fast. So here car is going to be the superclass and Ford is going to be the subclass. And then if I'm going to declare a statement which creates an object, I can access the method that is there inside the Ford, and also I can access the method that belongs to car. That means this particular statement says us that using inheritance relationship, we can always access the members of the superclass as if they are existing inside the zone object. So using inheritance, we have access to all the instance variables and methods that are visible to the subclasses. Next, with inheritance, all members of superclass are available to subclass. That's what we have discussed. And whenever a class extends another class, it has an easy relationship with its superclass. It forms a relationship that Ford is a car. When I define BMW is going to be car when it extends car class. So how do you actually check the easy relationship between two types is using instance of keyword. So let us see some example out here. I have declared class car, and I'm going to declare Ford extends car, and I have BMW extends car here, and I'm going to create three objects here: Ford, BMW and car. Now I'm going to check what object is of what type. So you can see that F instance of car, yes, because F is an object of F is referring to an object of type Ford, and Ford is obviously a car, so is a relationship passes here. Then F instance of BMW, is there any relationship between BMW and Ford? No, actually Ford is extending to class and BMW is also extending to car, but these two does not have any relationship. Obviously Ford is not an instance of BMW. So B instance of Ford, yes, no. B and Ford and BMW has no relationship. Obviously this statement will also return false. B instance of car, yes, because BMW extends car, BMW is a car. C instance of Ford, no. Here you have to remember that what I am trying to do is that I am taking a superclass object and trying to check if it is an instance of subclass type. please remember that the relationship is only way upwards and not way downwards. That means when Ford extends car, Ford only knows about Ford knows everything about car, but car really doesn't care about what a Ford is, what BMW is. That means super classes does not have any idea what subclasses are and who are its subclasses, but subclasses will have the full idea of their own parents. So instance of depends on the relationship upwards but not relationship towards downwards. So let us see something about the inheritance example. So you can see that I have created a car class here which has a move method. I have created a Ford which has move fast method, and I'm going to create this inheritance demo which I have created Ford move. Now when I invoke move, move is from car class and move fast is from the Ford object itself. So as part of inheritance we have to get the access to the move also. So that's how you can see that basic car move is invoked and moves fast which is from the Ford itself. So through this we can understand that inheritance gives access to all the members and members which are visible to the subclasses. And now let us discuss something about the super and these keywords. Super is used to access the super class members. You might think, why do we need a super keyword when we already have access to the super class members? There is a need for super, and this keyword we'll see with an example. This is used to access the currently executing objects members. This means whatever object is executing now, you're telling that please refer to your own members inside you. So an example, to cite an example of super, say I have a class car and I have mentioned speed as an instance variable inside it, and I'm declaring Ford which extends car, and I had a need that I need to define an instance variable in Ford also with as a speed, with speed as a name. So when I want to access the speed instance variable from the car class, then I have to explicitly say that please access it from the super class using super keyword. So the super will enable you to access the superclass members without creating an object itself. So you don't have to really create an instance and use that instance to refer to those instance variables. All you have to do is just say that please refer the speed instance variable which is there in my superclass. So coming to this, you can see that I have created class Ford and I have a price variable here, and with the method I have int price as an argument. So this is going to be a local variable. These are set to be local variables which have the life up to this scope. That means whenever the method ends, this price local variable is not going to be there anymore. So here I have a name conflict, so I have to tell please assign the value of this price to the price that is there in the object. So the moment when I create a Ford A is equal to new Ford statement which creates a new object, and I'm saying A dot set price. So A is referring to an object. This is an object, and in this we're telling that you have to refer to the instance variable which is inside you. So this dot price which refers to an member which is inside the object itself. So this is not mandatory all the times, but if you have local variables declared inside a method, to avoid confusion, this can be used to refer to members of the object. Then comes the has a relationship. When you use extends, we learned that there will be an easier relationship that will be formed. Has a relationship is formed by the composition principle. So let me say we have a student. Student uses pen to write. So to get the functionality of pen and some properties that are there inside the pen, we cannot include all those properties related to pen and behavior related to pen into student. It will actually dilute the concept of or dilute the student object with more unnecessary methods. In that way, we can just refer to a pen object as an instance variable inside the student. This is called composition. That means I'm actually wrapping up some of the methods which can be declared as a new object, a new type itself as a pen. So this is called composition. So composition actually reduces the complexity of the class. So I have to declare a separate class pen, and I have to mention all the methods and variables that go into pen. So student can just refer to pen itself, but need not really bother about what data types or what methods have been declared inside pen. So student has a pen. When you refer to an object inside a class as an instance variable, it is having an has a relationship. That means student has a pen. Has a relationship helps to reduce the complexity of the classes by the principle of composition and composition of the other classes. Now let us look at the simple example of super and this. Now say I have a Ford class here, and I have mentioned the same method which I have cited in the PowerPoint, and I have a car in which I'm going to declare int speed. Say I'm giving a value as 50. So here in move fast, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put another statement saying that speed, and let me declare another speed out here. Now obviously the default value for this is going to be 0. So I'm just saying super dot speed. So if I'm going to print, it has to print the 50 as the value. So now I'm going to run this example. So we need to ensure that move fast is invoked, and I have to ensure that f dot set price as 4000. So once we set this, we're just going to print the price of the Ford. So obviously I have to access it with an object which I have already created, f dot price. So once I set this, I'm going to run this. So you can see that the basic car move is invoked. This we have discussed as part of inheritance concept. Move fast is invoked, and as part of move we are trying to access the value from the superclass, which is now 50. Actually I have not initialized this speed with any value, so the default value is going to be 0. If it would have accessed the speed variable inside the Ford, it should have printed 0, but it is printing 50. That means it is accessing the speed variable from the car. So the super says to access the superclass values. Now you can see that Ford price has been set to 4000. That means this particular method is setting the price for this instance variable. So that's all for this session. You can subscribe to my channel Java 9s on YouTube. You can follow me at Java 9s on Twitter, and you can also visit my page Java 9s on Facebook to get more updates on my videos. Thank you. Have a great day. This PPT can be downloaded from java9s.com website for your preparation purposes. Thank you.